Hello guys, you're welcome back to Creativities. And today I'll be teaching you guys what I call market logic. So in today's lecture, I'll be explaining to you the intent of the market. Okay, so whenever you open your chart, you would like to know the trend, right? And the logic behind every movement. Okay, so I'll be taking GBUSD as an example. GBUSD, which is pound dollar, right? So this is last week price action. So let's dive into it. So let's take a look at the previous chart. We have this particular trend. This is clearly a downtrend, right? A sell order flow. I have other videos that have explained what order flow meant. Okay, so the meaning of order flow. At the end of, of this video, you can find those videos attached to this particular video on the screen. So, so we have a downtrend, right? A sell order flow. So let's highlight that. So let's start from here. Let's say we have this high, we have this low, we have this external high, external low, right? Then high, and then we have this low. Okay. Now let's stop here for now. Now you have this structure. Now, as a trader, what would you expect? Let's say you open your chart and this is where you are. Now, what is the next thing that you want to expect price to do? Okay. Now, as a trader, you know that if you have a high and you have a low, and you have another high that actually cause a break of structure, what you want to see is what price to retrace back in, right? Then so that you can price can actually pick order, right? And then continue selling to break another structure. And now we have just sorry, we have this particular low which has been taken, right? So what do you expect price to do? You want price to what? Trade back inside, right? You want price to trade back inside, look for orders and then continue selling, right? You want to just assume that we don't know what has happened, or what is going to happen, right? Let's say this is where we are. And then as a trader, what are you going to know what the market wants to do next? Okay, and that is where market logic comes in. All right, so let's continue. So we have this low which has been taken, right? Has been taken. So as a trader, you know that price we want to retrace back in, right? And which price actually did. Price actually price actually traded back inside and then pick orders from here, right? We have this order block right here. So price reacted from this order block. Reacted from this order block. Now I am an advocate of higher time frame structure, and then the criteria, or let me say the factors that actually guides how I trade. Number one thing is higher time frame structure. I don't joke with higher time frame structure. And then I combine it with the order flow and key levels. Okay. Now, price actually reacted from this key level, right? Price reacted from this key level, and where should be our target? Our target should be here. But then, whenever you're trading higher time frame structures, it is very, very advisable that you trade the internal structures. Okay, you want price, you want on your higher time frame structure, you want price to mitigate your higher time frame key levels, right? Then you want price to give you a direction, and then you can now trade the internal structures. It is very, very advisable to pick your entry internally and look for your exit internally. Okay, I'm just giving you a sheet code. I'm giving you a hint right now, which is going to help you. All right, so and why I said that was that look at how price reacted from this level, right? And if you actually pick it as your target, if you actually pick it as a target, I say how price didn't get to that point. Okay, price didn't take out this low because our price is still interested in retracing. But in fact, price we can say price wants to change trend because this high has finally been taken, right? So now, let's say you enter trade around here. Let's say you enter the trade around here. Okay, it will be very, very advisable for you to look for your exits probably below this other block, the liquidity below that other block, or anywhere inside internally. Okay, so now price, okay, let's continue. So price already reacted from here and got to this place, which actually served as a what? As a protected low. Served as a protected low. This low could not be taken. That low could not be taken, right? So we highlight that low out. So that low could not be taken. And then if you look critically, sorry, this low, price came back to that low. And then if you look at this critically, on getting to this box, price reacted but came back to take this liquidity. Price reacted and came back to invalidate the early bias from that zone and then gave a reaction. Okay, price give a reaction. We have this that we have that sell zone here. So we already know that if price invalidates this sell zone or if there's a break of structure, then price will what? We buy. Okay. So what happened? Price actually what? Invalidated this zone, and then by giving us this buying pressure and this validation, and then by confirmation of price reacting from this low, we already know that if at all price wants to move to anywhere, it will at least take this high, because this high failed to break this low. I get in it. This high failed to break this low. So automatically this high is a weak high, and price what? We definitely take this high. So let's go to our lower time frame and look for entry or confirmations. Okay. Right. So we are here. Now let's take a look at this. Price reacted from our, this is our higher time frame key level. Price reacted, gave us this low, this high. Then price took out the early buyers right here, and then what caused a break of structure. So by causing the break of structure, what this is our confirmation one, right? Price caused the break of structure. That's our confirmation one, right? But then after breaking this structure, this is not a complete confirmation. Like it's not what's this English I'm looking for? It's not yet a genuine reason for you to enter trade. So because price can still do what price can still, after taking this, they can still continue to sell. So you need another confirmation in order for you to know that okay, price is going to buy. Okay, so price took this high, came back, sold inside, and then did what? Caused another break of structure. So by causing another break of structure, we know that price already giving us hint, right? A buy confirmation, right? So after taking this second high, this is another break of structure right here. This is another break of structure right here. Okay. And then following our trend rules, I've explained trend rules in previous videos. You can check my channel and look for those videos. I have lovely videos that will really help you in your trading journey. So now, so by breaking this structure, we already know that we have our first confirmation, the break of the first structure, and the break of another structure. So we already have our confirmation. Now, what next are we going to do? We will look for what? Entry. Now, some people like to enter in a different way, but the way I trade and my students, and the way I teach my students on how to trade, they all know that I'm an advocate of key levels. I like to use key level as my entry because I believe that key levels will serve as a particular region where orders are, okay, where a lot of orders, and I believe a lot of traders are there. So I like to use key level as my entry. Some may decide to just pick this other block, and then draw out this other block, and then they'll some traders will prefer to use this as liquidity. They'll be like, this is liquidity, and they wait for price to come back. And I say our price neglected the entry. Okay. So now, how would I have preferred to enter this trade? Now, if you look closely, you notice that price came to take this liquidity. Okay. So the sellers that are here, the sellers that are selling from it, they took this liquidity, then price will invalidate the zone. Meaning we have a lot of orders. This is an order flow right here. So yeah, we have a lot of orders right here. Okay. We have a lot of orders right here. So price actually invalidated all the sellers that are here. Okay. Can you see how price invalidated the zone? Okay. After taking out this low, price actually what invalidated the buyer. So I will the way I love to enter my trade is to use key level. So I would have preferred this key level, and draw it out like this. Because I know if price gets to this place, this is now a resistance that will now what turn to support. Okay, this is a resistance zone that will now what turn to support. So I will just pick my trade from here, then put my SL just below the protected low. The strip of liquidity happen around here. So I love to place my SL around there. Okay, just place my SL around here, and then target the next liquidity where right here. So this trade will have given you 3.83 RR, which is a very, very nice trade, right? This is a very, very nice trade. So now, explaining the logic behind this, what is the logic behind the trade? From the higher time frame, we know that price already took external liquidity, right, which is a break of structure, right? So price is in a downtrend, but price actually sold and took external liquidity, which is this zone, right? Price took the liquidity of this zone, and then price internally break structure. If you check closely, you notice we have this high, we have this low, we have this high, we have this low. Then price will actually break structure. Then the other flow started to continue, and then price peak order internally and came back to this zone. Now making this zone protected by not breaking it. So we got our confirmation, first confirmation after price broke this structure, right? Price took liquid and broke this structure, first confirmation, second confirmation. So and then we're able to pick our trade beautifully. So now as a day trader, because my channel is mostly for day trader, you can also as a swing trader you can also learn from my channel. But my channel is mostly for day trader to really help you as a day trader because I love to catch trade at least every week. Okay, like two, three, four times in a week. So this channel will really help you. I also have a lot of beautiful videos, lovely videos. Check out my channel, you know, and take your time to study. All right. So the logic has been explained. What are the logic? Price took this price took this external. So and by taking external, we know that price will surely reverse, right? Price surely reverse. So having that at the back of your mind, you already know that you want to what, buy. The price gives the confirmation, first break of structure, confirming this low, then another break of structure, another break of structure. That's a confirmation that price will come to take this place. And also the most important is that you should know your trend, your basic trend. If you go to the higher time frame, this eye, this eye, sorry, this eye right here was supposed to break this low for the trend to continue, right? For the sell to continue. We have this low, right? Then we have this eye. Then this eye failed to break. Sorry, what's going on? Okay. So this eye right here failed to break this low. Okay. And what does that tell you? According to our trend, we know that if a eye breaks a low, then that eye is what protected, right? Any eye that causes a break of a low actually means that the eye is what protected. If a low breaks a high, automatically that low becomes protected, right? So now because this eye failed to break this low, automatically we know that that eye must be taken. Okay, we know that. Now, the next thing, what we now have to do, what we just need to do is what? To look for entry because we already have it at the back of our mind that this eye must be taken. Okay, so now, how do we now enter? It is by what? By looking for confirmations and then, you know, using our entry model. We have different entry models as a trader. Some people prefer that block and liquidity, some prefer breakout and stuff like that. But I just love to use key levels most times. Okay, unless I have a very clear, or I have other entries too, but most of the time I prefer to use key level as my entry in cases like this. All right. So thank you guys very much. I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment, like, subscribe,